FNAF 2 is probably one of the most controversial Five Nights at Freddy's games of all time. Some people praising it as one of the best, if not the best, FNAF game from the classic era, and others thinking of it as if it was the rising of the Antichrist. I personally haven't played FNAF 2, but from what I've seen, and trust me, I've seen a lot, I can see both sides. Like, I can see why people will think it's one of the best. Amazing character designs, a new creative mechanic, Atari-style law mini games, you get the idea. But I can also see how it's flawed, like almost every character needs to be fended off the mask, the prize corner being the only camera you really need to check, the kitchen not existing despite it being advertised as a restaurant, specifically a pizza place like the first game, Mangle being a PNG and almost every single camera yes is on. Yeah, I can see how it would get repetitive and tiresome after a while. And that's why I'm showing you today Fazbear Entertainment Storage, which fixes almost every flaw that FNAF 2 had, making it essentially a perfect sequel to Five Nights at Freddy's 2. Wouldn't that be FNAF 3? No. Fazbear Entertainment Storage was created by DeMichael as a remake of a previous fan game he made called Fazbear's Fright Storage, which was created to finish off Springtrap's story alongside showing where the spirits of the toy animatronics are after FNAF 2. And then sister location in FNAF 6 happens, that was kind of pointless. Now, I would give a brief summary on Fazbear's Fright Storage, but it's... absolute shit. Now, hold on, that doesn't mean it's complete trash. I saw what he was trying to do with the game, it had potential. It was just a bit garbage in some aspects. The models didn't really stick, as an example. So basically, very, very, very quick summary of Fazbear's Fright Storage, so I don't have to bring it up again. Fazbear's Fright burnt down. The creators of Fazbear's Fright found its Fazbear's Storage World, and they bought it and turned it into Fazbear's Fright 2. The toy animatronics there. Fredbear is there. It burns down. The end. There we go. Now we're up to speed. Anyway, on to Fazbear Entertainment Storage. The menu. Wow. Just wow. It's just perfect. The logo at the top. Toy Bonnie twitching in the corner. It's great. Not much else to say. I do like how it changes with each night you beat. So at the beginning of the game, it's Toy Bonnie. Then for night 2, there's Toy Chica. Night 3, we got Toy Freddy. Then Mangle. Then... Whoa. Yeah, I really like the puppet's menu appearance. Like, you know it's the puppet, but she's always in the shadows, so you can't tell what any of the quote-unquote withering is. Very smart. And then for the final one, we've got Toy Bonnie's head on the floor as being dismantled, which explains the box of parts in FNAF 3. We start the night, and your desk is your traditional FNAF-style desk, a fan, a light, Toy Bonnie, bobblehead, you get the idea. And there are 3 entrances into the office. The hall off to the right, the ceiling fan in the upper center, and the wall vent off to your left. The camera system is essentially the same as literally every other FNAF game, just with a toggleable map like in FNAF 3, switching between the main building and the vents above the building, with 3 fans in the vent cameras that you are able to seal, like the vents in FNAF 3. But then we got a maintenance panel like in FNAF 3, displaying the power, time, fan status, and temperature? Yeah, those aren't for decoration. They actually come in handy later. But anyway, I think it's really nice that they include the power and time on here. It's a really cool in-universe style way of keeping track of those things. I like that kind of stuff. Very nice. Another thing to mention is that if the power goes out, you can still use the cameras in your flashlight. The flashlight makes sense, I mean, obviously, but the cameras, I mean, it's certainly nice, but it's not exactly useful, as when the power goes out, you can't seal the vents on the cameras or the one in your office. So, yeah, you're dead if the power goes out unless you get really lucky. Now, onto how each character works. Toy Bonnie works the same as he does in FNAF 2. Once he goes into the vent next to your office, put on a mask and it'll frick off. Toy Chica goes in the ceiling vent at the top of your office. There's an audio cue, then she appears in your vent. Shut the vent until another audio cue, and she's gone. Toy Freddy is the withered foxy of this game. He appears in the hall. So hold your light on him for a couple seconds and he'll leave. And Balloon Boy, he works the same as he does in FNAF 2. Just put on the mask like Toy Bonnie. Now, Mangle has by far one of the most interesting mechanics in the whole game. Mangle appears in the vents and will try to jam the fans by sacrificing Yes's own body parts and stuffing them in the fans. You just need to keep an eye on Mangle in the vent, and when Yes moves, check which vent Mangle is at and seal it before Yes can jam the fan. If Yes does stop the fan, then it'll appear on your maintenance panel with one of the fans going red and your temperature rising slightly. If Mangle disables all 3 of your fans, then Yes jump scares you. Very cool, especially the idea of Mangle sacrificing Yes's own body parts to jam the fans. That's a really neat concept. The first 4 nights are what you'd expect with those 5 dudes, but the 5th night introduces the puppet, which is very neat. She works pretty differently to how she does in FNAF 2. Instead of having to wind a stupid dumb and stupid music box, you need to listen for an audio cue and then find her on the cameras, before just staring at her and she leaves. Also, her jump scare is pretty cool. The first few frames make you think it's going to be like everyone else's jump scare, but nope, it's mimicking the FNAF 2 rare screens. That's a really cool callback. And then, night 6.
Oh my god! Okay.
Yep, Fredbear and Spring Bonnie are here. I mean, who else could it be? Everyone else was dismounted by Henry after night 5. Now, Fredbear functions like Toy Bonnie and Balloon Boy, but you don't see him in the vent. You gotta put on the mask the moment you see him disappear from Camo 6 or hear an audio cue to make him go away. A similar thing for Spring Bonnie, but you'll hear a printer-like noise for some reason and your lights will start to flash, and instead of putting the mask on, you'll have to leave your camera or maintenance panel up and let him pass through or he'll kill you. Spring Bonnie will also try to get into the office through the ceiling vent, which once he disappears from Camo 9, the camera he gets into the vent from, you have a very short amount of time to shut it before he gets through and kills you. Spring Bonnie will also try to disable a camera, and Fredbear will also try to cut the power, which you need to go into the maintenance panel and use a shock button on the respective camera you see them on to stop them. And if you don't, if it's Spring Bonnie, then that camera is disabled for the rest of the night, or if it's Fredbear, the power is cut throughout the entire building and you just gotta wait it out. And that's the night. Ending it off with Fredbear and Spring Bonnie is a very unexpected twist in my opinion. Even DeMichael on a Q&A he made on his game's game drop page put people off from expecting them by responding, why would they, whenever somebody asked if Fredbear and Springtrap would return in the remake. I'm telling you, this man is a genius when it comes to this stuff. Now onto character design, starting with Toy Bonnie. First, I want to say it's great that DeMichael made Bonnie the mascot of this game instead of Freddy, which is very nice. The majority of the time the bears get the spotlight, mostly because, well, the mascot of Freddy Fazbear's Pizza is, well, a bear. But yeah, not this time. Toy Bonnie's getting it this time. Anyway, I really like Toy Bonnie's design. It's not that scary to me, but it's just straight up badass. Especially the growing green eyes. I do think he's pumping that with a Bonnie gas a bit too much though. What with half his mace missing, the missing arm, the missing shells of a hand, one of his feet. It could have been a bit more original, but you know, it definitely works. 8 out of 10. And then we got Toy Chica. What the f***? This thing is terrifying. Enough said. 10 out of 10. Then there's Mangle. I freaking love this. It's so cool. I love how instead of removing limbs from Yes's design, he added to it, which is not only a super creative, but it also makes sense considering what Mangle was turned into.
Take apart, put back together attractions.
11 out of 10. I don't really know what to say for BB, skip, but I will admit the rollback eye is pretty cool and creepy, 7 out of 10. Then there's the puppet, and we're back to mediocrity again. The puppet's design, it's fine, I guess. The cracked mask is cool and all, but Michael, you could have done more than just cracks. I guess I'll give it a 7 out of 10. And finally, Fredbear and Spring Bonnie. They're great. Spring Bonnie's outstretched arm is a really neat detail and creative way of showing that this isn't the same Spring Bonnie that William gets trapped in before FNAF 3. I also love how there's blood and even a small handprint above and around the mouth of Fredbear because of the bite of 83. Also, the rollback eyes is a very unsettling details on both of them, and really hammers home that frantic and soulless vibe they have in the game. 10 out of 10 on both of them. Now, one of the only issues I have with this game is the building design. My problem with it is essentially the same criticism Go Motion gave Five Nights at Candy's 2's building design, which is some of the rooms just aren't that interesting to me. Like, the only interesting room is Camo 1, and that room is literally where the main 3 animatronics are. And then if you look at, say, Camo 3, it's just a wall and a vent! At least Camo 5 is okay compared to other rooms in the sense it has arcade machines and seems to have an actual purpose, unlike the majority of the rooms which all seem to have the same general level of decoration, some lockers, a pallet, maybe a shelf if you're lucky. I mean, I get it. Canonically, the building wasn't designed to look good or anything, but come on, DeMichael. You could have done at least something. At least Camo 9 has an Endo 2, although it's hardly noticeable, so it's something, I guess. But my point still stands. And then on to the extras menu. Pretty neat stuff, like the game took 3 years to make, Mangle has 127 joints on Yes's model, DeMichael didn't care about Balloon Boy and he was added late. You know, the usual stuff, the stuff you'd expect. And then there's Custom Night. It's about what you'd expect. You've got your Creepy Crawlies, your Cupcake Challenge, your 2020-2020, and your Golden Freddy mode. The stuff you'd expect out of a FNAF Custom Night. But there are also 3 new ones added in too. There's Power Struggle, which is pretty self-explanatory. All characters will easily drain your flashlight or building power on. So Toy Freddy, Fredbear, Spring Bonnie, and Chica on 10, and then Mangle and BB on 20. Then there's the Show Must Go On, which, first, cool last name, and second, this mode has all characters that were the main attractions of their respective restaurants as the ones active, with Toy Freddy, Bonnie, Chica, Fredbear, and Spring Bonnie all on 15. Then there's Follow Me, which has all characters that are actually important characters in the overarching FNAF lore on 20. So, Fredbear, Spring Bonnie, and the Puppet. And finally, Golden Freddy / 820 mode. And let me tell ya, it's just a smidge difficult, not by a lot, just a tiny bit. But that doesn't necessarily mean that it sucks or it's impossible to beat. I'm sure if I put a bunch of hours and time into it, I could probably beat it and get that first star on the menu. But I don't got that kind of time. I've got to get this video out. Overall, Fazbear Entertainment Storage is a neat little fan game that clears up what happens to the toys after FNAF 2. I'll probably grab some Funko figures and convert them into the Wither toys in this game, it's that good. I have my gripes about a couple of the character designs and the building design, as you've heard. But beyond that, it's great. You can really tell how much passion DeMichael had and how much effort he put in when making this game, its models, and the story. Now, it's time to rank the game. I think I can only give this game 4 broken pieces of plastic out of 5. God, finally this video's done. So yeah, first video, hopefully it's not completely subpar. Any constructive criticism, please let me know so I can improve. Yeah, I don't really know what to say for this because this bit isn't scripted. See ya, I guess, in like a month.